Blink Publishing presents The Gender Bias, The Barriers That Hold Women Back and How to Break Them. Written and read by me, Dr Sabrina Cohen-Hatton. To Gabby. When they try to contain your fire, remember, no cage can hold a phoenix. Burn bright, my love. Preface. Well-behaved women seldom make history. When these words were first written by Laurel Thatcher Ulrich in an obscure paper about Puritan funeral services, the point she'd intended to make was that well-behaved women should make history. Instead, it was taken, understandably, as a call for women to rebel, with the saying now proudly emblazoned on feminist-inspired t-shirts and bags for life. I even have it on a mug. A simple internet search for people who changed the world delivers an abundance of historical figures. Almost all are men. When you search for women who changed the world, you'll find equally as amazing women who've achieved incredible things, but few are household names. Why is it that while their achievements were clear, they themselves didn't make history, or at least not the version most people consume? It's certainly true that when someone makes history, they do so because they've challenged convention in some way. So why the paucity of women? Or is it just that the women who do succeed, precisely because they've challenged convention, are seen as disruptors? Is it that the qualities they showed, like ambition, drive and risk-taking, aren't sufficiently feminine, so they were, by default, seen to be troublesome? The data would certainly suggest this is the case, with research showing a negative correlation between success and likability for women, while the opposite is true for men. The qualities that successful men and disruptive women have are often similar, but are perceived less favourably in women because they jar with society's expectations. They don't fit with the system. All women have had experiences where the things they say and do are judged differently because of their gender. Women politicians are called out in Parliament for being emotive and shrill, while male MPs, using similar terminology, make a strong and compelling argument. A man who's being clear and direct is assertive, whereas a woman doing the same is aggressive. These gender-based disparities underlie the lack of women in these lists of people who changed the world. I've certainly experienced these disparities, and I'm quite sure I'd lean more towards a description of disruptive than well-behaved. I've been a firefighter since I was 18 years old. When I joined, only 1% of us were women. I'm now a chief fire officer, the highest rank you can attain. I run an entire fire and rescue service, yet there are still more chiefs called Chris than women holding that rank. At the last count, there were also the same number of Johns too. For more than 2 decades, my day-to-day has involved dealing with emergencies and extreme situations. I comfortably step into the space where I command the response to major incidents. I led the major incident room for the Westminster Bridge terror attack and the Finsbury Park terror attack, and dealt with the aftermath of the tragic fire at Grenfell. My world is still highly male-dominated, and I'm comfortable working in that space. Being a woman hasn't held me back, but I'll be the first to admit, unashamedly, that it's not been easy, and I know it's not easy for other women too. I know I've been judged differently in situations because I'm a woman. I get strange looks from people when I tell them I'm a firefighter, whereas my firefighting husband gets a high five. There are people who walk straight past me and address the nearest man because a woman couldn't possibly be the boss. Those same people are the ones who think I'm less deserving of my position and I must have had a leg up or a leg over to get promoted. I've had years of little reactions or minor occurrences that made me think it was just me. I thought I was being oversensitive. I felt I was the problem. Each of these events on their own don't seem overly serious, certainly not enough to tip the odds. Each usually invited nothing more than a sigh and an eye roll, but they mount up. Each is like a single drop of water. In themselves, nothing more than something that evaporates into the air within a few minutes. But imagine thousands of these little droplets. These micro-events happen day in, day out. They soon amount to a river that will eventually burst its banks. I was putting a talk together called Heroes and Sheroes when I decided to share my personal experiences of the attributes that I thought had been important in my own journey. They were the elements that I thought were important for success, that I hoped could help other people too. I included my reflections on
Sample complete. Ready to continue?